Welcome back to Cheater's True Stories, the place where the darkest secrets come to light and the wildest confessions unfold. Before we dive in, a quick note. This story is raw, intense, and filled with forbidden passion. It's not for everyone. If this genre isn't your cup of tea, or if your age doesn't quite align with the heat of this tale, feel free to skip ahead with no hard feelings. We've got plenty of other stories waiting for you. But if you're ready to step into a world of temptation, guilt, and heart-pounding desire, then buckle up. What I'm about to share isn't just a story. It's a wildfire that started with a single spark and burned down every boundary I'd ever known. Even now, as I tell you this, my hands tremble, my pulse races. This isn't just a confession, it's a reckoning with the chaos inside me. So if you're intrigued, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's unravel this twisted tale together. Trust me, you won't be able to look away. My name is Sophie. I'm 22, living with my mom, Laura, and her second husband, James. James is the kind of man you can't ignore, 45, mature, magnetic, with eyes that seem to see straight through you. He doesn't need to raise his voice to command a room. His quiet confidence does it for him. Around the house, he's always been polite but distant with me, a nod here, a quick hello there, nothing more. I never thought of him as anything beyond my mom's husband. That is, until one night when everything I thought I knew turned upside down. It was a typical evening. Laura was out with her friends again. She's the type who thrives on fun, always glowing, but rarely tuned in to what's happening at home. The house felt empty, just me and James rattling around in the silence. I was in my room, standing in front of the mirror in nothing but my underwear, picking out a dress, when I heard the faint creak of my door. "Sophie, your door's open," James said, his voice low but sharp enough to snap me out of my thoughts. I spun around, and there he was, his gaze locked on me, steady, unflinching. Time froze. I didn't scream, didn't cover myself, I just stood there, heart slamming against my ribs, breath caught in my throat. His eyes traced me slowly, from my shoulders down to my waist, then back to my face. He lingered at the doorway, hand gripping the knob like he was wrestling with himself, step in or step back. "Sorry," he finally said, his voice rough, almost reluctant, before he turned away and shut the door. But that word didn't feel like an apology. It felt like a crack in a dam, holding back something neither of us could name. I told myself it was an accident, a clumsy moment we'd laugh off later. But deep down, I knew I was lying to myself. A few days later, we went to a wedding, one of Laura's closest friends tying the knot again. The venue was alive with twinkling chandeliers and joyful chatter, but James stole the show. In a tailored black suit, he moved with effortless grace, every step radiating power. I couldn't stop staring. Had he always been this striking, or was I only noticing now? Laura, dazzling in a red dress, dragged him onto the dance floor, her laughter ringing out. But as they swayed, I caught James glancing at me, brief, subtle, but loaded with something I couldn't ignore. Halfway through the song, Laura spun around, grinning at me. "Sophie, take over. Dance with James. I've got to catch up with the girls," she chirped, then darted off, leaving us stranded in the crowd. James smiled, extending his hand. "Come on, Sophie, don't let me embarrass myself out here," he said, his tone playful but his eyes daring me to say yes. I took his hand, and the moment his fingers closed around mine, a jolt shot through me. His other hand settled on my waist, pulling me close, and suddenly the world shrank. The music, the lights, the people all faded. His cologne, a warm mix of wood and spice, enveloped me as we moved together. My pulse raced, my skin prickling under his touch. "I had no idea you were this good," he murmured, his breath brushing my ear. "Dancing with you, it's something else." I ducked my head, muttering, "I'm just trying," but my voice shook. His grip tightened slightly, his voice dropping lower. "Don't sell yourself short, Sophie. You feel it too, don't you? This isn't just a dance." His words hit me like a tidal wave, stirring something dangerous inside. He was right, this wasn't just a dance. It was a pull, a current dragging us toward a line we shouldn't cross. When the music faded, he held my hand a beat longer before letting go. "Thank you," he said, his gaze lingering, heavy with unspoken things. I stumbled back to my table, legs trembling, trying to smother the fire sparking in my chest. After the wedding, Laura ditched us again for her friends, leaving James to drive me home. The car was a cocoon of silence, thick with tension. His hands gripped the wheel, knuckles white, until he finally spoke. "Laura, she lives for her own world sometimes," he said, staring at the road. "Nights like this, you'd think a partner would stick around, don't you?" His voice carried a quiet ache, a loneliness I hadn't noticed before. It tugged at me. "Yeah," I said softly. "Everyone wants to feel seen, especially on nights like this." He glanced at me just for a second, but it was enough, a flicker of understanding passed between us. "You get that," he said, almost to himself. "Not everyone does." We pulled up to the house, and he opened the front door for me. "Good night, Sophie," he said, but he didn't move, his hand resting on the frame. Something reckless surged in me. "James," I blurted, "do you want to come in just to talk?" His eyes searched mine, torn between longing and restraint. "No," he said, voice husky. "After last time, I don't trust myself." He walked away, but I knew he was fighting the same battle I was. That night, I lay in bed, my mind a whirlwind. His silhouette in my doorway that first time, his touch on the dance floor, his words in the car, they haunted me. Why couldn't I shake him? Why did my heart pound every time he was near? I was drowning in questions when my door creaked open again. James stood there, his tall frame shadowed in the dim light, eyes burning with a resolve that mirrored my own. He shut the door behind him and stepped forward. "Sophie," he said, his voice low and raw, "I don't care where Laura is tonight. All I know is, since that day I walked in on you, you've been in my head every second. I tried to fight it, but I can't. I want you, Sophie. I think I have for longer than I'll admit." His confession shattered me. I stood, my hands shaking as I slipped off my nightdress, letting it pool at my feet. The cool air kissed my bare skin, and I felt his stare intense, hungry, searing every inch of me. "James," I whispered, my voice trembling but steady, "I haven't forgotten either. That day changed everything. I've been running from this, but I'm done. I want you too." He closed the distance in 2 strides, his hands framing my face, thumbs brushing my cheeks with a tenderness that belied the storm in his eyes. Then he kissed me slow at first, testing, tasting, until it ignited into something fierce. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pressing myself against him, his heat seeping into me. The kiss deepened, urgent, desperate, as if we were both starving for this. James guided me back to the bed, his hands steady but his breathing ragged. I sank onto the mattress, watching as he unbuttoned his shirt with deliberate care, each movement revealing more of his broad chest, the taut lines of muscle flexing beneath his skin. The shirt fell away, and I reached out, my fingers tracing the warmth of his torso, feeling the rise and fall of his breath. He was solid, real, overwhelming. He leaned over me, his lips finding my neck, leaving a trail of fire as they moved down to my collarbone. "Sophie," he murmured against my skin, his voice a low growl, "you're more beautiful than I ever imagined." His hands slid to my waist, pulling me flush against him, his body a wall of strength and need. I shivered as his mouth explored further, brushing the curve of my shoulder, then lower, igniting sparks that raced through me. I arched into him, my hands gripping the sheets as his fingers danced along my sides, firm yet gentle, like he was memorizing me. He paused, hovering above me, his eyes locking with mine, a mix of adoration and torment. "I've never wanted anyone like this," he said, his voice breaking with emotion. Then he pressed himself against me fully, his weight a delicious anchor as our bodies melded together. The room filled with the sound of our breaths, the rhythm of our movements syncing in a dance far more primal than the one at the wedding. His hands roamed, claiming, while his lips found mine again, hungry and unrelenting. I clung to him, my nails digging into his back as waves of sensation crashed over me. Every touch, every whisper of my name from his lips, built the tension until it snapped, a release that left me trembling beneath him, his own shuddering breath echoing mine as he held me tight. When it was over, he collapsed beside me, pulling me close. "You're incredible, Sophie," he panted, his hand resting on my hip. "I've always known it, but now I feel it." I nestled against his chest, the steady thump of his heartbeat grounding me even as my mind spun. We lay there in silence, my head on his chest, fingers tracing idle patterns across his skin. "James," I said softly, my voice heavy, "what happens now? My mom, everyone, how do we go on?" He tightened his arm around me, his fingers threading through my hair. "I don't know, Sophie," he admitted, his tone quiet but firm. "All I know is that right here, right now, this feels real. You feel real, and I can't let that go." The house was still, but inside me, a storm raged, peace clashing with guilt, desire warring with fear. What had we done? Where would this lead? I had no answers, only the weight of his presence beside me and the unshakable truth that my life would never be the same. That's my story so far, a tale of forbidden longing, stolen moments, and a line we couldn't help but cross. Will Sophie and James keep this secret buried? Or will Laura uncover the truth and tear it all apart? If you're hooked, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The next chapter's coming soon. Drop a comment below. What do you think of my choice? Am I the villain here, or is this just what happens when hearts collide? I can't wait to read your thoughts.